Welcome back, everyone, to Pontos, Fathom, Hobbies. This is our review unboxing of a vintage board game. It's Acquire High Adventure in the World of High Finance. This was part of the 3M company's bookshelf games. See, it says 3M bookshelf games, Acquire. It's got a nice case. I picked this up on eBay. This was actually a game that my dad used to have when growing up. So basically here it says in the back, acquires the exciting new fun and fortune game for 2 to 6 players. All it takes is a little luck and a lot of strategy. Each player builds strategically manipulates a vast, profitable hotel chain. He builds chains, invests in them, manages them in order to collect the bonuses in a calculated race to acquire the greatest wealth. Acquire appeals to all ages, to all who like the feeling of power that comes with great acquisitions. Bookshelf case contains game board, hotel tiles, chain markers, stock certificates, money information cards, and company instructions. Average playing time 1.5 hours. You can see the swank set up on the cover. I always liked, as a kid, I always thought this was interesting, like this Wall Street-ish guy. I am totally not like this kind of guy, actually, but I did work in corporate Boston for a while, and who knows, maybe there's an influence. But this is actually 1968 3M company, St. Paul, Minnesota. And you can see this, even the box art has got this 60s Art Deco. It looks like it says Boston in the back, doesn't it? It looks like it's Boston. It's got this swank game board here as well with the pieces. Let's take a look at the components. So one thing about these board games is that actually the instructions were printed in the lid of the box. So it says copyright 1966. This is the 68 edition, so maybe it's a second or third print. But it says how to play Acquire. The main objective of Acquire is to become the wealthiest player by the end of the term. This is done by forming hotel chains and obtaining free blocks of stock. Shrewdly buying the right stock at the right time, merging chains to obtain capital, and adding hotels to the chain in which you have controlling interest to increase their value. Yeah, so in the end, you build. It's got it was such like a non-visual board, so you just have this grid, right? So you got this grid. This is kind of like, think of this as the street grid, and then you start putting tiles down. So you've got all these tiles, like 7A, right? 7A would go on 7A, and then 5D. Here's 5D, and then you'd have 12A and 11A. So say we have 12A and 11A, and now you would have the ability to build the actual hotel. So you would put, like, say you would pick festive or imperial hotels. You would take the imperial token and you'll place it on that, and now you've got your first hotel chain. So basically the hotel chains here are the imperial hotels, continental hotels, and I kind of love the card design and everything from this from when I was a kid. Festival hotels, Luxor hotels, and American hotels, and then finally Tower hotels and worldwide. And so each of these hotel chains also were of different values. So you can see on the value card here, so some are like the low budget hotels, so they have a low starting price, medium, and then like sort of the deluxe hotels. And so the idea is, as you buy shares of the stock, and as these tiles grow and grow, you start to have higher number of hotels in your chain, and the value of the stock goes up. And then eventually, if there's a merger, and mergers happen, like say there's a hotel chain here. Say we had American here, and it has 2 hotels in the chain, and then this is Imperial. They have 4. Somebody plays this token. This American will get merged into that sort of gameplay, and then you basically do a merger for that. So yeah, very fun setup. I remember getting very competitive because one thing about this that I liked over Monopoly was the idea that you could strategize when you would play a card or not. You'd have to buy the stock at the right time. So yeah, some of the rules are you create chains. So each player gets to create hotel chains, like I mentioned. Merging chains just means when you merge two chains together by connecting a block between two chains. The chain with the greater number of shares or greater number of blocks actually is the buying out chain. And then when shares are bought out, you would have majority first and second shareholders. So say like I have 10 shares of Imperial, you have 5 shares, and another player has 2 shares. The 10 player would get the majority first, the second place would get the second place, and the rest of the players would not get a bonus. But they all would get to either convert the stock. So say you have American goes out of business in this example, and you had 2 shares of American, you could sell them for the going price, or you can convert 2 American stocks for one of the buyout stock for the parent company, and you can convert that way. And this way you could buy into the higher price stock with a trade of stock. So yeah, that was pretty good. I remember that we would really try to optimize the game so it would drag on forever, but it had a different vibe to something like, say, a family game we would play that was like Monopoly or something like this. I think it was much more dynamic. I'll give you a little bit of a clip of how the gameplay looks, and you guys can check that out. Pontos Fathom Hobbies brought to you by the books that we produce. We've got a bookstore link down in the description. You can go check out the Catu Journals out of Lovecraft's Providence, the Omnibus edition. If you go to the bookstore, you can actually find the 6 volumes that make up the Catu Journals Omnibus: Genealogy of Cthulhu, Psychoanalysis of Rillia, Archaeology of Yog-Sothoth by August Moldenhauer, and Necromancy of Nyarlathotep, Hermeticism of Hastur, Alchemy of Azathoth by Giuseppe Balsamo. But you can check these out individually or as a group. Great for a Lovecraft fan or a fan of horror. We've also got William Mitchell's Alchemy and Anthroposophy in the Dune Saga. This deep dives into the Jungian alchemical and anthroposophical themes throughout the Dune Saga and kind of really pinpoints into what makes Dune such an impactful cultural saga. And deep dives into the influences of Frank Herbert, but also implications that Dune has on our coming future world with the rise of AI and bioinformation and things like that. And lastly, we've got the Artificial Psychoanalysis of Desiring Machine, August Moldenhauer, William Mitchell. Also a 3-volume collection. You can buy these individually. You've got Impedance and Admittance in Desiring Machines, Psychoanalysis of Artificial Intelligence, Computational Complexity and Psychiatric Agency. This book will put together a number of different approaches to the rise of artificial general intelligence, what its impact is on humanity, and also the idea of perhaps a psychology or an artificial psychology that's going to be required in the future for artificial intelligence. So go check those out in the bookstore. You can also check out our Patreon link down below. Thanks for watching, and we'll back to the game. Okay, so we'll fast forward sort of through this. This is a mid clip of a game, just fast forwarding. You can see there's a number of chains on the board. There's Imperial, there's Festival, there's Luxor. But then you see there's a couple of smaller ones, like for example, Worldwide only has 3 tokens. Continental has 6 tokens, and Festival has 3 tokens. So, for example, Imperial is probably a very strong hotel chain, and you might be able to connect it. And see, here we are taking American, and we're doing a merger with American. So American's going to merge with Festival. So we're going to take those American cards. We figure out the majority shareholder by counting the shares of each player. And player 2 in this case, to the left there, is the majority shareholder. So they're going to get their first majority payout. And then player 1 is the secondary shareholder. They'll get their payout. And then we can do stock conversions. So because there were, the parent company was Festival, we can swap some 2 American stocks for one of the buyout company stocks. And then any remaining stocks, you can actually hold on to the stocks or sell them off for the price they were valued before the merger. And that's basically the gist of the game. You keep playing like this until there's no more moves. And basically, the person who has the most money in stock investment in the end wins the game. So yeah, it's a pretty exciting game, pretty fun. I find it was quite addictive as a kid. I remember having a real fun with my brothers and sister, my dad playing this. So I picked it up on eBay. Thought I'd share it with you guys. If you guys ring the bell, like and subscribe, you'll get notified when we do play a game. If you guys have played it, leave a comment below. Let me know your thoughts on the game. And look forward to playing with you guys later. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.